give witness to all you guys out here tonight. Keep it up. A message to each and everyone around the whole wide world. Want to feel vertical mist in your area. Say we live in a crucial time. Mother Nature in serious decline. Not to mention the war and crime. Millions of people in need. More people than we can feed. Couple that with their corporate greed. Monopolizing the food we eat. Time for the people to see. First they tried to kill the weed. Now they want to control the seeds. We say no, no, no to Monsanto. Come on, Honoka'a, sing it. We say no, no, no to Monsanto. Hey. They can't survive if we persist. It's time to join in the email list. List of nations to resist the madness Monsanto inflicts. The USA should be first in line. Wouldn't you know they are way behind? It's just because of the bottom line. But this time the people insist. A call to action to one and all. Got to make Monsanto fall. We say no, no, what? No to Monsanto. Come on, big guy, let's sing it loud. We say no, no, no to Monsanto. Listen, this is deeper than dollars and cents. Those politicians have no common sense. The planting seeds of pestilence. A revolution is sure to follow. So we are here to say it's time to go. No more GMOs. No more GMOs. This might be a David and Goliath thing. We would protest, we will say no, no, no to Monsanto. One more time, we say no, no, no to Monsanto. Sing it loud and clear, we say no, no, no to Monsanto. We have to chase them out. No, no, no to Monsanto. We sing it one more time, we say no, no, no to Monsanto. We don't want them here, we say no, no, no to Monsanto. Take it down, let me say something, take it down. We do not live in a time where we can stay silent, my people. These little kids that you see here tonight, this is the work that we must do for them. We have to be the people who put in the hana, the work, so that they don't have to do it 25 years from now. And if you think you can't make a difference, you already are, because you're here tonight. Which means your mind and your heart is in the right place. And we don't want to point fingers necessarily, but we do need to bring up the awareness, and that's why we have concerts like these. That's why we have seed exchange, and we show films like Eden showed today. We have to let people know what's going on. Because I could literally stand up here and sing love songs all night, but then you would go home and say, wow, that guy was really romantic. But you wouldn't really get anything out of the music besides warm and fuzzy feelings. But that's not why I'm here tonight. I'm here tonight, these guys are here tonight, all of you are here tonight to get this message into our subconscious and spread it out there. Take it back to Kona, take it back to Hilo, take it back to Waimea, take it wherever you go. And when people ask you, what is Monsanto? Read books, look at the internet. We have all of this information at our disposal. Let's look at it, let's learn the facts, and don't speak unless we know the facts, okay? We cannot act out of emotion, we gotta act out of truth and love. Because aloha is the only way we're going to get out of this mess. Aloha is the only way we're going to get out of this mess. Aloha is the only way we're going to get out of this mess. So let's sing it one more time, okay? You ready? We say no, no, no to Monsanto. Shut them down. We say no, no, no to Monsanto. We sing it from the heart. We say no, no, no to Monsanto. Over and over again. No, no, no to Monsanto. We say no, no. Not in my yard. I don't consider myself a radical person, but this is the time for all of us to think about our lives and make a difference. So thanks for coming out tonight, all of you guys. Thank you for coming.
No.
Okay. Wanted to just have you talk about a little bit, Marty, about your musical and spiritual background. You know,
Okay.
How you came up into this path of yours. You know, now that you're really Hawaii's reggae ambassador, bro. It's a heavy thing.
Yeah. Well, I got to Hawaii when I was 8. My parents brought me here when I was 8, and I went directly from New York to Maui. And always, when I came up through the public school system, I always liked music, and I always thought that music was going to be the way that I would make my difference. Everyone has a part to play in this world, and I thought my part would be enlightening people through music. And I always knew my music would have a message. I never thought that my music would be just empty, people go dance and then they go home and forget about it. I always thought that I would make the kind of music that had impact and made statements in our society. So when I was in high school, I guess the pivotal point for me was the year I graduated from high school. I wanted to be a painter. I thought painting was going to be my medium. I was a watercolor artist in high school, and I got picked to go to the Soviet Union to paint a big mural called the Maui to Moscow mural. They picked 6 kids from Hawaii to go and paint this mural, and which was a huge honor for me, and I got picked on the basis of my artwork. You know, so I went to Russia 2 weeks after I graduated from high school, Maui High School. And when I got to Russia, we painted the mural and we did some things that Americans had never done before. This is just to give you a little bit of foreground. This is when the Soviet Union was just adopting the system of perestroika, which means opening up to the West.
Okay.
You know, glasnost. It was just Gorbachev's kind of last big thing.
Right.
Anyway, so people had never been into Soviet people's homes before. We could never walk in the churches. We could, you know, you couldn't do certain things in Russia. But when we got there, the timing was just divine. Just then they were opening their doors to the West. You could actually stay in the home of a Soviet citizen, as an American. So anyway, we got into this. We all raised our own money, the kids from Hawaii, to go. You know, this is a gift of aloha from the children of Maui to the children of Moscow. Because we figured the leaders are not getting it together. We still are in the Cold War. We're still, you know, enemies, as it were. So the kids have to do it because the adults not doing it. So we went. We raised our money. We went. So the pivotal point in my music career was we walked into this gymnasium and there's maybe 2,000 Soviet students in there. And the announcer said, these kids came all the way from Hawaii to be a friend, make pen pals, start these two nations being friends. And nobody said a word. No one said a word. They were just, you know, I don't want to be their friend. Anyway, so there was a guitar in that gymnasium. And I knew 3 chords. C, G, and F. And I picked up that guitar and I played Twist and Shout by the Beatles. And by the time that song was over, every single student was out of the bleachers on the dance floor.
Oh my God.
Dancing, hugging us, getting our address. How can we be a friend? How can we stay in touch? And I was like, this is it. This is what will change the world.
Yeah.
This very feeling right here. Because music transcends language, political barriers. All of that stuff is just immediately squashed, and people say this is because music is the language of our ancestors. The first communication was music, drums across the valley.
The vibration.
That was the first text message.
Yeah.
And over there they go. That's the first communication. So I knew right then and there in Russia that I wanted to be a musician.
You was a senior?
I was a senior in high school. So I came back to Maui and I formed a band and I started writing my songs. And my first album was centered around the Puna rainforest demonstration, the geothermal demonstration. I had written this song that I wanted to send to the album around, but then I came to Big Island for a concert, and just so happens they were doing that Save Puna rainforest demonstration, where people were tying themselves to the fence, and I said, wow, I gotta write some songs about this. So I wrote this song called Stop the Madness, which became sort of like the theme of the album, about people desecrating the land and not necessarily being concerned with what the natives' incentive was. Why are we completely overlooking the original Aboriginal people that are here?
Yes.
Their agenda is pushed to the side, and then this corporate America agenda is pushed forward. So I always try to speak for the underdog, sing about things that you wouldn't necessarily learn in school or they wouldn't put on the news. Certain stories they avoid because it's the truth. And the general public, if the truth is known and you have a bunch of very educated, conscious people walking around, then we're not sheep. Then the system can't sell us all their stuff that they're, basically what TV is just sell us all their products. But if we're smart and we're educated and we know the right stuff, we can make those conscious choices. You know what? I don't want to be part of that. I don't want any part of that, actually. So that's what my music has kind of always been about, and I've always tried to bring that kind of stuff up in song. And my latest project, I had been researching Monsanto and what they're doing to Hawaii, and I had no idea 5 years ago that this was their major testing ground. And all their seed bank and all this stuff, they do it here. It started in Honoka'a. They tried to do it to the taro, and the papayas for them is a big success story. The reason it's a success story for them is because people can still make millions of dollars on papayas. But a big blow to them was Japan said, we don't want GMO papayas, which was a big revenue source. So still to this day, a lot of papayas in Hawaii are a GMO seed because there was a virus, as you know, that killed most of the papayas, or it made them, not worthy fruit. So I started to just research it and think about it a little bit more, and then I wrote this song called Say No to Monsanto based on some of the things I had heard. For instance, I don't know if you're aware, but in India, for instance, every half hour a farmer commits suicide in India. Every half hour a farmer commits suicide because he can't make his farm work anymore. He can't live off that land. What happens? Here's the cycle that will happen. For thousands and thousands of years, people would collect their own seed, plant the land, and that season is done. They collect all their seeds. The next rain season comes, they replant with their seed. Now, you can't get that seed anymore. GM seeds are sort of like that's the seed that most people have in the stores. So what a GM seed does is when you plant it, it will grow, but it will never reproduce. Those seeds will never grow again. It's called a terminator seed. So you got to go back to them to buy seed.
So
anytime you want to
Monsanto is
replant,
the one that does this.
Monsanto engineers, they bioengineer the seeds to never reproduce again. So you've got to go back to them to buy the seed. So what's happening, the reason why a lot of these farmers are committing suicide, they say that GM seeds are resistant to Roundup. So they spray the whole field with Roundup. Everything dies except the plant because they splice the plant's DNA with the Roundup. So the plant is resistant to it.
So it has Roundup in it.
It has what they splice it with all kinds of stuff, actually.
Yeah.
Animals and all kinds of stuff. The weird thing about controlling that is if you control the seeds, you control all food.
That's right.
If you control all food, you control all life. And that's why it's dangerous for Hawaii. If everything in the stores was GMO, and you said to yourself, I don't want to eat GMO, there's very little you could actually eat at that point. Right? Right? So the issue that I think a lot of people that are sort of protesting Monsanto's now is they're not labeling things.
Yeah.
You don't have the choice to know Quaker, all these big companies that most Safeway, Foodland, their stocks are filled with stuff that has GMO, but you don't know because they don't label it as this is genetically modified wheat, genetically modified soy, genetically modified corn. They don't say that. You just buy it and you eat it. You don't even know that you're ingesting all this stuff. And to grow a GM crop, you have to spray the thing with tons of Roundup, so everything else dies. There's no weeds in a genetically modified crop. No weeds, just that plant grows.
Wow.
So it's actually very scary because they've got it down to a science, but it's not just on the plant side. They actually have it down to a science on the business side. You know, they're suing other farmers. If you have a field planted with corn and they come in and say you've got 2 corn stalks in your whole thing that have our DNA in it, they can sue you and shut you down for copyright infringement.
I see.
Which is really, really scary if you think about it.
Even
because
if
it's pollen. Pollen
it's
goes
just
across,
pollen goes
it blows
everywhere,
across,
open field.
and all of a sudden they're contaminated with genetically modified.
And they sue you.
And they sue you. But their motto is, they say they're for the farmer, or they're for the family farmer, but what they really are trying to do is control all food.
Control humanity.
Control everything.
Yeah.
And they're very powerful. And that's why I hesitated, and it was very careful about my wording with this song. Because I don't want it to sound like a finger pointing thing necessarily, but I want it to be more like an awareness, an eye opener for the layman, for someone who doesn't know. This song's been on the radio in Maui for a few months now, and people walk up to me all the time. What is Monsanto? I don't know what you're singing about in that song. Say no to Monsanto. What is that? So I like that. I get to actually explain what I do know. I won't say that I know it all. What little I do know, I like to share with people one-on-one. I don't want to just take my word for it, but this is what I think I know from what I've read and the films that I've seen about this topic. The thing is, for me, music it can be much more powerful than, I mean, let's face it, more people listen to Lady Gaga than listen to the president, the things that she says and the statements she puts out there. So if there was a song or a set of songs that could change the world, I think it's very possible. Because music changes people's emotions.
Yes.
And emotions are what we're all fueled off of. If you're mad, you go do that. If you're not mad, you wouldn't necessarily go do that. And music has the power to sway your emotions. So if the world could be changed, music could play a big role in that, a huge role in that. And so for me, I go back to something you said earlier, is everyone has a different kuleana, everyone has a different thing that they do. For me, I really feel like my music has been, I mean, people could walk up to me. Just yesterday I was on Maui in the coffee shop, and someone said to me, I'm really inspired by what you're doing. I'm really inspired by what you're doing. And most musicians will be like, oh, thank you. But I took that so deeply because of what my music says.
Yes.
The person actually heard it. And if only one person in a whole crowd of people heard the message, it's worth it. Because one person went, wow, I should probably think about this more before I just go and buy all these products and do all this. I should think and read a label. What am I actually putting in my body? How does this affect my future? How does this affect my children? How does this affect my health?
Yes.
So even just to get a general sense of, let me think about this a little bit more. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished with music. Because music, it's invisible. It's not tangible.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, right? So being a part of that it's a blessing, but it's also a responsibility for me. I see it as something that I have to be very careful with the words I choose, because words have the power to build, but also to destroy.
Right.
So I have to be, for me to come to this cause about educating people about the food, because I consider myself an organic farmer. I have a piece of land that I take care of on Maui, and I try to, spread that message of one day these ships and all this shipment of goods is going to stop coming here. And how are we going to survive? We got to go back to what the ancient ones did. The Honoka'a, they farmed the fish, they got the taro, they did it in a way that they were ecologists at their core. They were some of the best ecologists in the world. 1 million people lived out here without Western intervention.
Yes.
Right now, just today, if Safeway and all these major food stores close, shut their doors, nobody could get in and get the food. We have less than 5 days worth of food supply in this state at any one time to sustain the people that are here. What would happen if another 9/11 happened, all the ships stopped going? Or let's say we run out of oil and these ships cannot reach Hawaii with all these goods. Not just the food, toilet paper, toothpaste, all that stuff. The Hawaiians live without all that stuff. They did it. How did they do it? Every single person had a job to do. And that's what it is. It's about taking responsibility. If we all look at each other and say, okay, we all got to survive out here together, we got to figure out a way to make it. It's become too easy, I think, for us. The cell phones and the cars and all this stuff. It's too easy for us to just go to the store, pick up a hamburger, put it in your mouth, and go to bed. before, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, you had to work all day, carry stones, build a wall, keep the fish out. It was a labor to survive. And now we don't, not everyone has that sense of labor and how the seasons affect plants. And once you get super detached from that, I worry about this younger generation that sits around and plays video games in their spare time instead of going in the yard digging worms and the stuff that we did as kids, because they're detached. To them, playing in the dirt is like, yuck, I don't want to go outside, I don't want to touch all that stuff. But they're missing the real lessons in life, in my opinion. Touching the dirt and getting in touch with nature is really, it's innate to our,
that's who we are.
We're part of it.
Yeah.
The grass is the same thing as me.
Yeah.
So when I die, I go back to the grass. That concept is not being widely taught, I don't think. And I think that's a danger for us as a race, as a human race, to not see ourselves a part of, but as a part from nature. I think that's a very dangerous thing. It's a very dangerous thing.
Do you see, some people have mentioned it to me, I resonate with this idea that Hawaii has a destiny through our relationships with each other as a multicultural community, as well as our relationship with the earth, and the power of aloha, that Hawaii through music can reclaim its destiny and spread this message of aloha and malama aina throughout the world. Do you see something happening?
I definitely see it as not only a possibility, but something that's sort of on its way, and we're all just little players in that. Because everywhere I go, being an ambassador, as it were, traveled the world over, and every single person I've ever met, barring no one, has a special place in their heart and mind for this land. And that didn't come easy. That's because of the aloha, and that's because of the way people treated the land and how we respect the powers that are here. That's not something that's, oh yeah, I like palm trees, I like Mai Tais. It's not like that. There's a really deep spiritual respect for what is here. And I think that if we all, whether you're Kanaka or not, if you're going to be here, I think it's part of your kuleana to be a part of that movement forward, because it's going in a bad way.
Oh yes.
These big companies are coming and taking over big pieces of land and working their agendas, and it has nothing to do with the common man. The common man just gets left behind. And I think that the common man needs to be more like one big family, and then become a force to be reckoned with, and say, hey, we don't want all that outside intervention. If we simplify things and learn from the ancient ways, it could be our only way into the future. Really, it could be the only way to survive into the future, because we could just get boxed out by these powers. We could get boxed out.
They could have the World War III could occur tomorrow.
It's right. It's right. And what would we be out here? Isolated with no way to feed ourselves. What would we be out here without all these goods and all this stuff? Without a plan. What I'm saying is a plan needs to be put into action so that there is a survival plan.
Yes.
A survival plan for all of us.
Just trying to amplify the truth and
Exactly.
share, with aloha,
Yeah.
our opportunity, because right now so much of the state land has been claimed by all of the state land, 2 million acres, being claimed by a corporation built within the government. I think they call that fascism, when private entities work with the government and have their own agenda for the people. And so now, because it seems abundantly clear that testimony, voting, petitioning, it's like it goes on deaf ears, that the government and its partners in the private sector continue to disregard, the well-being of the earth and of the people. So we're doing all that we can. In my case, simple kind, civil resistance. Mm-hmm. We come and we plant, and people are responding. They're saying, let's plant some more. Let's keep on doing it. Like Robert said, I just gonna keep planting and planting and planting. And the fact that we do it on so-called public land, it's been freeing up. I feel like for a lot of us, that we decide to take the plunge and break HEVA laws that ultimately don't even have jurisdiction on Hawaii. And so we want to bring a meaningful meeting of the minds, the leadership in the government and in the community, to sit down and to discuss the elephants in the room that are like taboo. These are sacred, you know, things,
Sure.
sacred cows we don't talk about. Emperor no more clothes. But we're realizing if we're not allowed to speak on these things by a media that's controlled by 5 corporations now, we have to do whatever we can to find each other, support
Yeah.
each other, learn, and start growing food.
It's finding ourselves in the wilderness. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're people of like mind. They're out there. It's just, you know, it's harder to like you said, it's harder to network with those people if they're not getting the message via the media. We have to, like you said, find each other.
Creating our
Reach
own
out,
media.
yeah, reach out in ways that, I mean, we got the technology now to find each other, and I mean, I see it happening. I do see
You do.
a lot of forward movement happening, and for me, it's hard to get discouraged sometimes because you know, it's what it is. It's a work, you know, it's a work that you do. You get up and you do it selflessly, and there's a lot of people in this world that do what they do selfishly. So you have to not watch that so much, you know, because, you know, it could get very disheartening for you to see how people would disregard a real Pono type of intention just to make $1,
Right.
you know, and it happens every day, even within our government, especially sometimes within our government.
Yeah.
So reaching out to other people and making it plain what your intentions are, and that you're here just to help educate and share and uplift everybody. It's not, you know, none of us are in this for the money. We're in this for bettering a future and steering people towards something that's more sustainable and something that's more, I mean, just something that when you go to sleep at night, what do you think that the ancestors think about what's happening? They're shamed by this. And we have the power to change that.
Yes.
And make it so that they smile upon us. Wow, this generation, they did something like right.
Yeah.
They took it back into their own hands, and they set it right again. Because that's what they're all waiting for out there.
Yeah.
All our ancestors, that's what they're waiting for.
Amen.
They're waiting for us to just set it right again.
We on that path.
We're on the path, man. We just got to gather more people to the cause. That's what it is, you know, people of like mind.
Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So now we're gonna meet Hector
Okay.
Valenzuela.
Okay,
And
I've
this
been waiting to meet
amazing
him.
journey is gonna carry
Cool.
on.
Cool.
All right,
Another
bro.
chapter.
Let's go.
All right.
Thank you very much. So, you rather me pick up the lime and the chicken manure?
Yes, sir.
How soon?
The thing will get better chances of grabbing on real quick and jumping, yeah?
Okay. When you like do that?
But tomorrow I'm going to the mountain. So, come by, tomorrow's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday, yeah. Thursday. Thank you guys again, brother.